Level 1. The Nightlife Gatekeeper. The Mizu-shōbai Informant. You're 22, and you work in Ginza. Not the Ginza tourists see. The other one. The one that starts after midnight, behind a door with no sign, up an elevator, that requires a key card. One bottle of whiskey here costs 80,000 yen. The men who order it don't look at the price. That tells you everything you need to know about them. Your job is to make them feel listened to. So, you listen. Really listen. Not to the words, to the gaps between them. The salaryman who keeps checking his phone but acts relaxed. The man in the corner booth who ordered water and has been watching the door for 40 minutes. The one who laughs too loud when someone mentions the police. You file all of it away. Date, table number, what they said, what they didn't. 6 months in, you realize you have information that could end 3 careers and start a war between 2 factions of the same organization. You haven't told anyone. You're waiting. You don't know what you're waiting for yet, but you know. The waiting is the right move. The woman who runs the floor has been in this world longer than you've been alive. One night, after the last customer leaves, she sits across from you. She doesn't ask how you're doing. She slides a phone number across the bar. People pay well for the right kind of memory. You pick up the number. You don't ask whose it is. You already know what kind of door you just walked through. Level 2. The Waka-okusan. The lieutenant's shield. You're 26. The ceremony was not a wedding. There were no flowers, no speeches. 12 men in dark suits sat in a private room above a restaurant in Shibuya and watched as 2 cups of sake were exchanged. You wore a formal kimono you borrowed. You sat perfectly still. You didn't speak unless spoken to. Sakazuki. The sharing of cups. A ritual older than anyone in that room. Afterwards, one of the senior men looked at you and said simply, "You are family now?" What that means becomes clear inside a week. 3 junior members are sleeping on your floor by Friday. They eat at your table. They leave their shoes everywhere. They treat your kitchen like a convenience store and your living room like a barracks. You cook. You clean up after them. You never once ask what they do all day because asking is not your role. Your role is the wall. When police knock, and it's a Tuesday morning, earlier than you expected, 6 of them, you open the door before they finish knocking. You offer tea. You answer their questions in the order they ask them. You watch them move through every room, and you do not blink. They find nothing because there is nothing to find in any room you control. They leave. You close the door. You go to the kitchen. Your hands shake for about 90 seconds. Then you start making rice. Nobody sees the 90 seconds. That's the whole point. You get your first tattoo that winter. A single chrysanthemum. Left shoulder blade. 3 hours under the needle in a back room above a dry cleaner. You don't make a sound the entire time. The artist asks if you want a break. You say no. Level 3. The Gunjishi. The Shadow Strategist. You're 33. You haven't touched a nightclub in years. Now you have an office. 3 companies under your name. A real estate firm. A construction company. A talent agency. All clean on the outside. All registered properly. All filing taxes on time. Last year, 400 million yen moved through them. The talent agency logs phantom client fees. Cash comes in from loan sharking operations, gets recorded as placement commissions, exits as legitimate income. The construction firm inflates project costs by 35%, and the gap dissolves into holding entities registered to people who no longer exist. You built the architecture yourself. It took 2 years to get it right. It has not failed once. The gray zones of Japanese law are not accidents. Someone carved them out deliberately. You have learned every centimeter of them. But money isn't the hardest part of this level. 2 months ago, 2 factions inside the clan started moving toward each other over a disputed block in Namba. Both captains had already made calls. Men were ready. You requested a dinner before either side could move. Private room? You arrived first. When they sat down, you didn't give either of them a chance to open. You put a single sheet of paper on the table. Revenue losses, From the last territorial conflict, police activations, arrests, months of disrupted operations. This is what the last war cost. The next one costs more. Neither man spoke for a long time. The dispute ended that night. No shots, no blood, no arrests. They will never say your name in connection with it. You are not supposed to exist in that conversation. That's fine. You know what happened. That's enough. What isn't enough is everything outside the work. The friends you used to have stopped calling 2 years ago. You couldn't explain your life, and you couldn't pretend it wasn't happening. Now, the only people who know who you really are would take a prison sentence before they said your name to the wrong person. That's loyalty. It's just not the same as being known. Level 4, the Ane-san, the clan matriarch. Nobody uses your name anymore. You are Ane-san, older sister. And there are men in this organization in their 60s who bow when you enter a room. The bow is real. It is not performance. Nobody taught them to do it. They just do. The boss has been in Fuchu prison for 14 months. Conspiracy. 7 years minimum. The lawyers are working it down, but working slowly. In the meantime, every decision that would have gone to him comes to you instead. Midnight calls. Disputes between captains who would rather go to war than admit they're wrong. Cash flow problems in 3 cities. A senior member's funeral that needs to look respectable on the front page without saying anything that could be used in a courtroom. The funeral was last spring. 300 men in black filled the street outside the temple. Press cameras on both ends of the block. You walked out first. Straight back, eyes forward. The clan's grief was yours to carry, and you carried it without showing a gram of the weight. The photos ran in 4 papers the next morning. Every one of them showed composure. That was the message. Not to the press. To every rival organization watching. We are still here. We are not broken. Don't test us. Your tattoo is almost finished. Koi ascending a waterfall across your entire back. 11 years of sessions. The last one was 6 hours without stopping. The artist has done Yakuza tattoos his entire career. When it was done, he sat back and said he had never completed a piece like it. You looked at it in the mirror for a long time. Then you got dressed and went back to work. Level 5. The Onna-oyabun. The godmother. The boss died on a Wednesday. Heart failure, the official report said. It doesn't matter. By Thursday morning, 2 captains had already started making calls. You knew because you still have people everywhere. Old habit, never stopped. By Friday, it was clear that without intervention, there would be a succession war inside 30 days, and the clan would be finished. Not by rivals, not by prosecutors, by itself. You called the meeting for Sunday. They came expecting a transition, a formality, someone to hold the seat warm until the men sorted it out. They found you at the head of the table. Nobody spoke for almost a full minute. You let it go the full minute. Then, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, this is temporary. You're thinking, as soon as the right man steps forward, this becomes a different conversation. So, let me save us all some time. You put the financials on the table, territory maps, outstanding alliances, 3 active threats from rival organizations that nobody in that room knew about except you, because you had been managing them quietly for 2 years without telling anyone, including the boss. This clan survives because I keep it alive. That was true before Sunday. It is true now. The question is whether you want to work with me or spend the next 6 months destroying what 4 decades built. One captain pushed back. He didn't use your title. He used your first name like a challenge. You looked at him. Just looked. Didn't answer. Turned back to the room and kept going. He used your title every time he spoke for the rest of the meeting. You know what sitting in this seat means. A woman running a Yakuza clan is a provocation. Every rival will test you. Every prosecutor in the country will prioritize you. This ends in a courtroom, or it ends worse. You made your peace with that somewhere around the time you got the chrysanthemum on your shoulder blade and decided this life was the one you were going to live all the way through. You forge the alliances. You close the internal fractures. You negotiate the merger that keeps the name from disappearing. The government builds its case. It takes them 3 years. They are thorough. So are you. You don't run. You don't hide. You sit at the head of the table every week and you run the organization the way you have always run it, with precision, with patience, and with the complete understanding that everyone in that room is there because you allow it. They never saw you coming. Not in the nightclub, not in the front companies, not at the funeral, not at the table. That was never an accident. That was always the strategy.